Did you know that you were in a toxic relationship at the time, or was it just afterwards and you were like, oh my God, this was so toxic? Like, what made you realize that process, that this relationship that you were in was toxic?
So when I was in that relationship, I felt that something is wrong, but I couldn't articulate it because I was so disconnected from myself. I was so disconnected from my feelings, but I just knew something is off. And I like painting, I like drawing, so I was drawing and writing help. Yeah, so writing help, but I didn't know like what is that. It was just coming out from my subconscious mind.
When you say like you knew something was off, was it like feelings that you were getting? Was the specific things happening in the relationship that made you notice as like, okay, should I be okay with this? Is this normal? Like, was the little things that was happening like that?
Yeah, so there were lots of little things like that, and so he was quite manipulative. So I tried to talk to him. So, for example, I don't like this kind of behavior, and he was like, "But it's okay," like completely devaluing and dismissing what I'm saying. So, and I wasn't aware of myself. So that's why I thought, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I am overthinking. Maybe I am. Maybe everything is what's going on. It's normal. So I was devaluing and dismissing also my own feelings. So what I felt was I was just unhappy. I could distinguish happiness and being happy and not happy. So I knew that I'm not happy, but I couldn't go into details.
Yeah. And when you felt that you were not happy, what did you do next into like, okay, noticing that you're in this toxic relationship, noticing that you weren't happy? And I think that's a really good one for listeners and watchers out there, is like, if you're finding yourself not happy, okay, we know the feelings between happiness and not being happy. It's like, what did you do in those moments to start refining your happiness again?
So I started trying to find any literature online about happiness. Wow. So it wasn't about any feelings. It wasn't about psychology, because I had a stigma that people who go to psychologists, they're not normal. And
I felt that as well. Like in my younger years, I'm like, oh, if you go to counseling, if you go to psychologists, like there's something wrong with you. And I'm like, that is so far from the truth. Like as a coach and being a psychologist yourself, it's like we help people and support people through the dark times, the hard times. And it's so beneficial for every individual or for a relationship as well. And I think the same as well. So if you're thinking counseling or relationships or like going to a psychologist is wrong, it is far from the truth, and it's probably something that you probably might need in life, because it's only going to benefit you and who you are as a person as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So I started studying the science of happiness, what's behind it. So the first thing that came to me was mindfulness meditation.
Okay.
So, and there were not many materials, information available about that. But I found one course about practicing mindfulness, and I started doing that. So it helped me a lot in order to start being more self-aware of my body, how my body reacts, and how am I feeling in every situation. So it was my starting point before psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just for the listeners watching out there, so you said mindful meditation, and for maybe those who know what meditation is, what was your experience when you were like, okay, I'm wanting to find happiness, and that led to mindful meditation? What did you actually do, and what is a mindful meditation, just for the listeners watching?
Yeah, so mindfulness meditation is when you are highly aware of, so how we start? We just start from breathing, because our body is in the present. And our mind always goes into the past or into the future, but our body is always here. So we learn to be in our body through breathing. When we breathe and when we pay attention how the air comes in and how it comes out. We start noticing lots of sensations in our body. So all the attention from the mind goes to the body. And there are no troubles, nothing is happening right now. And right now, usually, there is no problem. So
in the moment.
In the moment, there is no problem.
And I think that's that I do a lot of meditation as well. And I feel meditation can be different for everyone. So some people find like yoga is a meditation.
Yes.
Some people like just sitting there, you know, with in your yoga poses and really meditating. It can literally be cutting the grass is a good one for meditating. I used to love this. Just cutting the grass and I'm just breathing and I'm just in so much presence. I'm feeling the earth on my feet and it was such a meditation. And it's really like you said, it's like coming into the present moment within your body and feeling. And I feel that there are so many women out there, and this is exactly why I created the School of Sensuality, because women don't know how to feel or don't feel or have suppressed their feelings. And through meditation, we allow the feelings to come up.
Yeah.
And as it is a form of calming the mind and being present within our body, we feel like during a meditation or during these practices, whether it's coming out of a toxic relationship or just simply because you want to meditate and connect with your body more, we feel so much that can come up, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm actually feeling these emotions of like anxiousness or pain or insecurities or joy or happiness, and we're not really too prepared in like what to do with all these emotions. Like, fuck, I'm feeling all this shit, like what do I do with it now? You know? And it's just like noticing what comes up in the feelings. And it's really what I love sharing with my clients is when the emotions and feelings come up, allow them to be there.
Yes.
Observe them. And then let them go. We don't need to attach and hold on to them. And I think with the meditations or the mindful meditations, it allows us to not have those attachments.
Exactly.
So you're finding happiness, you found the meditation, and how did this help you in the toxic relationship?
So I started being more self-aware of myself, and I realized this is not good for me. I know my body doesn't feel good here. So why am I staying? So that's why I decided to leave, and that's how my therapy started. And then I started to realize, holy shit, that was really toxic.
Wow,
yeah, and I stayed in that relationship for 5 years.
Wow.
So year after year, and I was very young when we started being together. I was only 23, so I wasn't self-aware at all. So yeah, and I started very deep therapy, and I started to realize, actually, I attracted that man because I had my own traumas. Yeah, I noticed that it was my traumas because when we pick a partner, we usually pick someone who is, it's a trauma bond. Yeah, usually. It's a trauma bond, and it's very destructive if you are not self-aware. Because it keeps destroying because you're not aware, and you keep being in that same situation, and your nervous system is constantly dysregulated. But if you're self-aware and you see these patterns flashing back, you can do something about it, staying in that same relationships. So actually, I don't really like saying that the relationship could be toxic. It can be toxic, but if both partners are highly self-aware, and if they're willing to put some work, it can come really beautiful partnership, and really beautiful and nurturing and healing relationship.
I love what you shared there. And I think, for both of us, we've both gone through toxic relationships, and we weren't self-aware back then.
Yeah.
And I think we're not self-aware until we become self-aware. And that's, why I made the School of Sensuality as one pathway to self-awareness. We have meditation, and that's why I have my Patreon. It's where I teach simple exercises that connect women to their bodies, so they can start building that self-love, building the self-awareness, building the self-connection with themselves, to know okay, how I'm feeling right now is not how I want to be feeling in my relationship. I want my relationship to be feeling happy and in love. And if I'm not feeling that, well then, something must be wrong. But we have to take the path to actually get to that pathway to be like, okay, look, I'm not happy, something going wrong, what do we do about it within that as well? I guess for those listeners as well, what is kind of maybe another exercise that you use to start building your self-awareness?
I think it's very important to know about the drama triangle.
Okay.
It's the first step to self-educate about drama triangle. So the drama triangle is about that we can get into the loop of being either victim or perpetrator or savior. And usually in toxic relationships where something is not working, usually people are in that kind of triangle, drama triangle. So usually women who think that they are in a toxic relationship, they are in a victim mentality. When you're in the victim mentality, it's very hard to step up and say, okay, what can I do about it? Because when you tell what can I do about it, it's proactive approach. And victim, in the victim mentality, you're just, I feel bad about myself, I cannot do anything, and I'm helpless. So that's a helpless place to be. So it's better to first say, okay, I'm in that, just admit, I'm in that drama triangle, I want to go out, what can I do? So what would I recommend is to start, of course, with mindfulness practices, because this is a really great way to connect again with your body, and then start learning more about your feelings. Start increasing emotional intelligence. What am I feeling? It's exactly what you said, what you have. What am I feeling right now? And also start saying that your feelings are valid. Very often we devalue our feelings and just dismiss. And I said that we tend to attract a partner based on our own traumas, and usually these traumas come from childhood. So we have a very wounded child within, and it's our job to give love and support that she or he needs. So first, educate yourself about drama triangle.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Mindfulness meditations, and lots of inner child work.
And feeling.
Yes,
and
of
feelings.
course. Yeah.
And I think I was actually in my ayahuasca ceremony a couple of weeks ago, and one thing, I love my school of sensuality and the mission and what I'm here to do on earth for other women. And such a deep thing that came through to me was like, Katie, for me, it's really simple to feel. For you, it's really simple to feel. But there is so many women out there, and maybe it's you watching this right now, just don't know how to feel. And when you start connecting in with your feelings, or doing, the inner child work, or learning so much more, honestly, life becomes so flourished and nourished, and our bodies become so much happier, because that's a feeling is the pathway to finding happiness. And exactly that's where, obviously, your journey came through. And as you're speaking into that, as you call it the drama triangle?
Yeah.
The drama triangle, I used to be so in victim mentality, hey? I was like, you're doing this to me. I was projecting. I was blaming him. I was thinking he's doing all this to me. Nothing's ever my fault. And I was so in the victim mentality. And it was only when I come to, obviously, through my own journey, have so much self-awareness and learn within myself, I'm like, I'm allowing this to happen right now. He is doing this to me, and I am just allowing this to happen. Until I built my own self-awareness, and I'm like, I am not doing this anymore. And then that was, coming out of my relationship. And back then, neither of us had the skills to communicate. We were both in the victim mentality. We had never done the inner child work. There was so much of self-discovery and self-learning that we hadn't done at that stage in our life. And I was like, this is exactly why I've got the School of Sensuality, because we don't go to school to learn this stuff. We're literally thrown out there into the big wide world, and we're like, just figure out your own shit, It's just but this is why we have little things like this, happiness pathway, meditation, connecting to your body, feeling, and you can all learn more of this inside the School of Sensuality in my Patreon, so I'll put those links before. And maybe, you know, if you're wanting to do more of the inner child work or learn more about the drama triangle, but just simply how you are showing up in life. And if you are feeling that something isn't right in your relationship, or you're feeling not happy, this is probably the first sign that you need to be like, okay, I need to kind of work on this. Because you said, like, you know, 5 years you experienced that.
Yeah.
Mine was just 2 years. So obviously my self-awareness came, but there is so many women that are in relationships, they are not happy, they are fearful to speak up, they are scared to actually do something different because of obviously the way that I've been treated in the relationship, and they simply just don't know how to feel. So if this is you, we are here to support you and help, because we've been through it ourselves, and I just know how like detrimental it is to your mental health. And like I lost 10 kilos during that phase just because my nervous system was frazzled. I wasn't happy. I was trying to do so much for him, and it was just like not coming back around. And then obviously the self-awareness built, and then now I'm honestly the happiest that I have ever been in my life, and it just keeps getting better because I'm choosing myself. I've got the self-awareness, I know how to feel my feelings, I've got the self-love, and I connect with my body. And being able to have those processes and also be able to teach it to other women out there is so profound, I feel, and especially in the work that we do, because having gone through that and now being on the other side, you're like, fuck, I'm not going to do that again. Like, no way am I going into this pathway of that again. So it's just like, there is a way out. There is a way out if you're not feeling happy, or, you know, noticing that you are in this toxic cycle. And if you've got any questions, I will put both of our links below here, so you can really reach out if you've got any questions, if you want to book in a session to actually learn a little bit more. And you might just get so much out of like a 1 hour session that you have, obviously you don't know what you don't know, and having this ability and the lessons that we do have to bring to yourself could be so much beneficial for your life and also your relationships as well. So if you've got any questions, we are here. But I hope you guys have taken something out of the this podcast and had fun with us as well, because, you know, we've all been through it, we've all been there. You are not alone. We'll see you in the next video.